من ربك ربي الله ما دينك ديني الإسلام.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Deen Matters Family Edition. Now, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to family, there may be some things that are not obvious. There may be some hidden dangers that could lead to damage down the line. Dr. Slimi, could you shed some light to expose some of these hidden dangers that we should be watching out for?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Very often people talk about obvious things in marriage, issues of trust, issues of, that cause problems in marriage. There are so many of them. But it's like a building. You have a house and you see some cracks and you underestimate, say, oh, it's not a big deal. But that crack, you get used to it like that until one day it just becomes a big crack and then the whole building collapses. Unfortunately, marriage is like that. Some of the things we could talk maybe today and another time. I find it very critical in marriage, and we have in the tradition what backs this topic more is contentment. When there is no contentment in marriage, it could be not only financial, it could be also emotional. Sometimes the wife or the husband demands more. They're not content with the time given to each other. They want more of each other. Sometimes even people become like obsessed and want more than what is really what we call fair and equitable. So, for example, when it comes to finance, a lot of people complain that my husband or my wife, whoever speaks in that case, is not content. He wants me to do this and this. Could be outside the house or at home. And taking, for example, money, a lot of men, for instance, husbands say, my wife wants more, and I can only afford so much. So there is the financial stress. So financial stress causes, of course, a certain behavior from the husband. He would not want to go back home. He avoids, being together because the issue of money and bills will be brought up. This is not when he pays his dues and does his responsibility, because the man, the husband, according to Islam, is the one who's in charge financially. But a woman should be content, a woman should be considerate, or the wife in this case should be considerate. And if they're both of them working, he should not demand more than what she can afford, because remember, if they have children come first. Family is before career.
Dr. Slimi, are there any examples from our tradition that really illustrate the importance of contentment?
Well, we have a story from Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam when he visited his son and he was not in Mecca. And remember the story, he asked his wife, he knocked the door, he said Salaam alaikum, and he didn't say who he was. He told her, where is Ismail? She said he was out of town. Probably he was traveling to make a living. Back in the days, they used to go hunt for days and bring in the game, bring in the food. She said, he's not here. How is life? She started complaining. It was more about contentment. And then he said, say salam to him and tell him to change the threshold of the house. When Ismail alayhi salam came, the message was, change your wife, because that's not a kind of person that you want to live with. That was a clear indication. Ismail alayhi salam understood the message. And it said that he came back again and he asked his wife, and the wife, this new wife, she said, he's good, he's doing his best, alhamdulillah, he does what he can. A very, very nice response, expressing and manifesting contentment. He told her, say salam to him and tell him to uphold and take care of his threshold. That was a message that this is the wife that supports you, that is not always looking at the cup half empty but rather half full. This teaching from the Prophet ﷺ teaches us how to always be supportive. Yes, financial burden is not easy, but you relieve that burden just with a good word. Sometimes a person who goes home and his wife says, I understand we're having difficulty, Allah is going to help us, let's find a solution, can I help you? Those could be comforting to the husband. Likewise to the wife, because also when he comes He does not complain about the food is not there, the cleaning is not up to his standard. He should understand that, he should be content as well with the way she is. Maybe encourage her, maybe help her. So this is why I find in our marriage counselings that contentment, if it's not there, it opens a disaster on marriage.
Now, even in the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the mothers of the believers, we also have examples.
Yeah, and of course in Surah Al-Ahzab, for instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inviting the mothers of the believers, if you want this much in dunya, I'll give you, okay? But, or you are going to be with the Prophet ﷺ and be patient. And of course they chose the Prophet ﷺ in simple life, because the Prophet ﷺ in household, he didn't have a lot. Sayyidah Aisha many times spoke about life and she didn't complain. She said 2 months and 3 months and we don't use fire in the house of the Prophet ﷺ, and we live off the dates and water, al-aswadain. That shows you how content they were. And of course in modern day, and I would, all our households, our wives, or even us, we wouldn't accept that, because we don't have that patience. We got used to a lot. Allah knows what's in store for us in the future. But where can you find such examples of contentment? But it's from the households of these prophets, like Ismail alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and many, the wife of Ayub, Rahma, may Allah be peace upon them, who was very content in spite of her husband's disease and sickness. These are examples in the Quran to teach us contentment. And we have saying in Arabic, al-qana'atu kanzul la yafna. Contentment is a treasure that never ends, and we will always want more and more and more. But building this ability to be grateful and appreciative for the little you have, it doesn't mean that you cannot be ambitious, that you don't want more success. Yes, but you don't make the family members, whether your children, your parents, your spouse, feel that they haven't done enough. And that's actually where a lot of problems in marriage start, because of this, the lack of contentment.
Thank you, Dr. Slimi, for shining a light on contentment, and may Allah give us that ability to get that treasure, inshallah. Thank you for tuning in, Deen Matters Family Edition. Hit the subscribe button and feel free to join the conversation with your questions, your comments. Always happy to hear from you. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum.